everyone, my name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today I am so excited because we are going to be revisiting the subject of asexuality and talking about some micro-labels and subcategories that you might not already be familiar with. If this is your first exposure to asexuality as a concept, I wouldn't really recommend you start with this video because it might be kind of confusing. So please go ahead and check out some of the resources and other things I will have linked down in the description box below, because otherwise, like I said, this probably won't really make a lot of sense to you if you don't really know what the term ace means. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is subcategories and micro-labels as they apply to the ace spectrum. Now, within the LGBT+ community, micro-labels can be kind of contentious. Some people think that they are flippant or disrespectful of the history of other words such as gay or lesbian, that they shouldn't really be taken that seriously. Other people don't really understand why they have to exist at all. Like, isn't it just good enough to call yourself bi or pan or ace? Why do we have to go into all this unnecessary, super complicated detail about our sexual orientations? Why can't we just use those labels? And I want to respect that those opinions exist, but I don't necessarily agree with them, and this is why. Our language that we use to describe sexual experiences, sexual orientations, attractions, etc., are our own best guesses. Language is not perfect, it is not divinely inspired, it is not set in stone, it is simply what we have available to us at the present moment. And with labels, what we're really trying to do is capture a set of widely variable and complex human experiences into a single word or into a single phrase. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they capture every single experience. So I think that it makes sense as we research more into this, as we have more conversations about it, as we come to understand more of the nuances of human attraction and expression, that we are going to need to come up with new terms and new labels to more fully capture all of those niche areas, all of those edge cases where we might not already have them fully described by the labels we already use. And maybe one day we'll have a totally different system for describing our sexual orientations and experiences. Who knows? Things can happen, things can change, but I think really it's just people trying their best within the system that we already have to better understand themselves, as well as to describe themselves so other people can understand them better. I really don't think it's a malicious thing or anything where they're trying to be disrespectful, and I think it's important that we have compassion when it comes to this very complex area of being a human being. And with that in mind, over the course of time that I've been talking about my identity as an asexual person on YouTube, I have gotten so many questions from people who are trying to understand if they fit within the asexual spectrum. People come at me with questions like, hey Evie, I feel this one particular way about this one thing. Does this still mean that I'm ace? Or other people who say, Evie, I don't feel this one way about this one thing, or I don't feel it super consistently. Do I still count as ace despite that? And honestly, I don't really know. I am not the arbiter of asexuality. I'm not even really an expert on it. I can talk from my own experiences and opinions, but I'm not like a doctor researching this by any means. And I think sexuality is a very complex area. I think it's something where you really know yourself the best, and I cannot give you a label. I cannot tell you this is the exact thing that you are. But what I can do is give you more resources and terminology, so hopefully you have a little bit of a light bulb moment and you can better understand maybe exactly where you fall on that spectrum, if you do fall on it at all. And what I have found is that there are a lot of subcategories already that help people more exactly describe their experiences beyond just the whole, I never ever experienced sexual attraction under any conditions at any point in my life, and that's it. Some of them are more common, things like demisexual or gray A, which is me, and other ones are a little bit less common, which again are the ones I want to get into today. So let us start off with our first micro label, which is cupiosexual. Cupiosexual refers to someone who does not experience sexual attraction but still desires a sexual relationship for some reason. This could be because they want children, because they want to make a non-ace partner happy, or because they believe that having a sexual relationship is an important social signifier for bonds in the relationship or how deep or committed it is. This is sometimes referred to as sex-positive asexuality. I wouldn't necessarily agree with using that terminology in this way because for me, I really don't think that you have to have a desire for a sexual relationship for yourself in order to be sex positive. I think you can be totally sex repulsed, sex adverse, not want a sexual relationship for yourself whatsoever under any circumstances, and still be perfectly sex positive when it comes to other people's relationships. But that's just my perspective. You can contrast this with lisexual or acoisexual, which refers to when someone does experience sexual attraction, but they don't want that attraction reciprocated. This can also be described as when someone has a sexual attraction towards someone, but it goes away as soon as they know that it's going to be reciprocated. So, for example, somebody who identifies as acoisexual might have a crush on someone, but as soon as they hear that that person also has a crush on them, the crush goes away. And the inverse of this label would be reciprosexual, which is when someone only experiences sexual attraction when they first know that somebody has a sexual attraction towards them. And the last term that I want to talk about today, guys, is Fray-sexual, also known as ignatasexual. I have not heard someone say some of these terms out loud before, so if you know I'm pronouncing some of these wrong, please feel free to correct me down in the comment section below. I will not be offended. I want to make sure I'm saying them right, but it's hard when you've never heard anyone say a thing out loud before. Anyways, what does it mean to be Fray-sexual? I think the easiest way to understand this is by a comparison to another more common micro-label called demisexual. When someone is demisexual, that means that they only experience sexual attraction after a deeper connection or bond has been formed in the relationship. Stereotypically, this is associated with romantic attraction and romantic relationships, but that is not always the case. It could also be platonic among many other different types of attraction as well, which is worth its whole own discussion, so I will just leave that here for this video and we will revisit it at another time, I am sure. And Fray-sexual, by comparison, is the inverse of that. Fray-sexual is when someone only experiences sexual attraction up until a deeper bond or connection is formed. There are a lot of different ways that this can manifest, and everyone has their own personal experience. Some people describe it as a light switch being flipped, where as soon as they start having those more intimate conversations, it's just like boom, sexual attraction is gone. Other people describe it as a more subtle experience where it happens over time. So for someone who has more of that kind of experience, as they become more intimate with someone, as they get to know them better, and the intimacy in that way goes up, their sexual attraction goes down. And that is everything I wanted to share with you guys today for these micro labels. I just want to end on a little bit of a note of compassion here. Remember that with all of these labels and experiences, there are real living people behind them. To you, they might seem silly or weird or unnecessary or overly complicated, but for other people, they can be vital to understanding how their sexuality works and to be able to communicate those things to partners as well as to other people. I would love to hear your feedback on this one. Had you ever heard of any of these terms before? Do you identify with any of them? Do you know anyone who identifies with them? Do you have any residual comments, questions, concerns, all of that good stuff? I would love for you to leave down in the comment section below, as well as any suggestions you'd like to see for other videos relating to asexuality. If you enjoyed this, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I make videos twice a week about all sorts of different subjects, from asexuality, kink and BDSM, open relationships, relationship advice, all of that good stuff. And finally, if you really enjoyed this, if you want to support my work, the best way you can do that is through Patreon. Link to that will be down below. That is what keeps this channel going, because YouTube does not. If you already support me over there, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. And until I see you guys next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.